Hey there, I'm Ginny McArthur. I'm a nutritionist, fitness trainer, and life coach, and I'm obsessed with helping women, especially women over 50, lose weight and live full, vibrant, rewarding lives with a little bit of badassery for good measure. As I record this on New Year's Eve, I'm reflecting on 2025 and what a huge year it was for me. In May, my cousin Joe sadly passed away, and I had an unexpected trip to England, which was terribly sad, first of our generation to go. But also meant I got to spend my 66th birthday, so my first birthday in 33 years in England, in the land of my birth, with my siblings and my son, which was truly amazing. Just loved it. And then in July, my second granddaughter was born, Sadie Ann. So that was another huge event. In July, I got to take a wonderful group of women to Bali to a life-changing retreat, which I just loved. I'm doing it again this year. I've still got spaces. If you'd like to join me, just message me below or email me or whatever. Um, then the end of the year, I've had health challenges. Firstly, with this thing with my eye, which is slowly coming right, and fingers crossed I'm going to get my sight back to where it was. And then I discovered I needed double hip replacements, which was like, what? How can this be? But anyway, I've loved 2025. I've been lucky to be alive in 2025 for all that's gone on in the world. But anyway, I still feel happy and lucky to be here. And I have huge goals for 2026. I think 2025, I connected with some amazing women, some wise, inspirational women. And I feel so very, very lucky to work with these amazing human beings every day. Honestly, I just love my job. One of my goals for 2025 was to get this podcast going, which I've done by the skin of my teeth. So, this is our second episode. It's also available on YouTube and the website. So, it is the blog as well, because we're women and we just multitask. So, it's everything. I'm really looking forward to 2026. My word of the year, I try and have a word for every year. Last year's word was generous or generosity. And this year it's energy, because I have a huge badass year planned. And to have the energy to do all the things I want to do, go all of the places I want to go, and work with all the amazing women I want to work with, I'm going to need a heap of energy. So that's going to be my daily focus, is protecting my energy, keeping my energy positive. And to have that energy, I'm going to have to nourish my body with amazing food, because every little ounce of energy that I derive that comes from my cells can only come from one place. And that's what I choose to put into my body. So that, as always, is going to be one of my big focuses. I've also been reflecting on what this podcast is and what it's for. And I was thinking about some of my heroes that I listen to, like Dr. Stacey Sims and Dr. Vonda Wright, who, Stacey is amazing for active women, and Vonda is just brilliant for all of us in that menopause space. But at 66, I'm beginning to feel a bit broken. And it's not just that I've worn my hips out. No, I've had a couple of operations on my spine in the past. I've had a partial knee reconstruction. I've had whiplash in my neck. I've lived a full life. I've been tough on my body. And now it's saying, hey, excuse me, we're here, but you've worn us out a bit. And as I read Unbreakable, which is Dr. Vonda's book, I realized actually I'm broken. I can't do the shit that she suggests. It's great and I know where it's coming from, but I can't do plyometrics anymore. I can't lift the heavy shit that Stacey Sims suggests. I can't do heavy deadlifts anymore or heavy squats anymore. That's just not available to me without causing me so much pain. I used to push through it. And I ended up in so much pain for so many days. And it wasn't DOMS, delayed onset of muscle soreness pain. This was joint pain. And I was like, get over it, you know? And now I realize that I need to have a little bit more compassion. So when I train, I now train with more compassion for tomorrow's Ginny and more compassion for next year's Ginny. And I think part of my job with this podcast is not just to help you guys with your nutrition, which you know is my passion, but also help you develop and evolve into a way of moving that supports our health going forward. I'm not going to be running the marathons I thought I'd be running at 86. I may not be climbing the mountains with my grandchildren I thought I would be climbing at 96, but I'm sure as hell not going to be sitting in a chair crocheting. Well, I might be doing that as well. But, I need to find a way of exercising that keeps all of those neuroconnections going, that keeps me strong. I want to keep my core strong. I want to still be able to move, but without breaking me further and causing me more pain. So that's something I see this podcast as being. And I think if we can grow it, it would be fabulous to get experts like Dr. Stacey and Dr. Vonda to come on and talk to us about women at our age and stage, because I think we're one beyond where they are. Bless them. They're still in their 50s, God damn it. Anyway, that's just a little bit of my kind of thoughts around what I'd like this podcast to do. It's essentially for women over 50 who want to lose weight, stay strong, vibrant, with a little bit of badassery. That's what I want it to be. Following on from last week's podcast, I thought it might be useful today just to offer 3 changes that you can think about that will help you in the new year straight away to make a difference to your weight, to your body composition, and to how you feel and your energy levels. So it's all about getting our mojo back, really, isn't it? It's not really about the kilos. It's not really about the weight. It's like how we'll feel when we've done it, how we'll feel when our clothes fit again, how we'll feel when we're not breathless walking up the stairs, how we'll feel when we've got more energy. It's about that. I don't know whether people still talk about mojo anymore or whether it's very kind of 2001. I don't know. But I think that a lot of the women I talk to have lost their mojo. They've become the bottom of the heap under work and other responsibilities, children, grandchildren, parents, whatever it is, and they've lost who they are. They've lost their spark and their mojo. And I hope that this podcast will help with that, right? Get your mojo back in 2026. So the number one thing that you can do, and I know you've heard me say this before, but it's to eat whole foods. What if you banished the processed crap? Even the processed crap that tells you on the packet it's healthy, and committed to eating whole foods most of the time. Would it be a bit inconvenient? Yeah, probably. Would it take you a little bit more time to prep? Yeah, probably. But shouldn't we be spending time on our bodies? Like, we make sure the car is serviced even when we're busy. We make sure we put air in the tires even when we're busy. We put the right fuel in the car even when we're busy. So taking out a little bit of time each week on self-care and looking at your own fuel, it needs to be a priority. It doesn't need to be ours, but it does need to be a priority. I used to live on protein bars. I was addicted to them. This is what the food manufacturers want, right? They spend a lot of money on making their foods addictive, including health foods. Protein bars are health foods, right? They're there to stoke your metabolism, keep your lean mass up, keep your blood sugars stable, make sure that you've got enough of everything in there. I used to sell them in my office. Between clients, this is nutrition clients, on a bad day, I could eat 10 to 12 protein bars. I kid you not, because I was addicted to the sugar alcohols. Those are the things that make them super sweet without sugar content. So the sugar, alcohol, and the artificial sweeteners that are so intensely sweet were feeding bugs in my gut. And those bugs in my gut were giving me terrible irritable bowel syndrome. I would be doubled over in pain after eating 12 protein bars, mind you, who wouldn't? But they were sending a signal to my brain to eat more of them. That's the truth. That's the truth. So I hate to think of the damage that I did to myself binging on those things. I probably would have been better binging on crunchy bars. I did that as well, but that's another story. But this was all when I was still obsessed with calories and macros, and I hadn't done the work on my mind. I hadn't done the work on managing my mind around food and not eating reactively, not eating a protein bar because I'd had a hard client or it was a hard day or I'd overbooked my schedule and I was knackered. All of those reasons are not good reasons to eat. And that's what I did. And once I had one, because of the food manufacturers and the sugar alcohols, once I had one, I couldn't stop. I'd keep going. I used to have to hide the wrappers. Any profit margin that was on those protein bars was eaten by me. I never got any. I can absolutely tell you I never got any. So when I stopped eating processed foods, including protein bars and processed health foods, I stopped binging. Took a little while, but I started to feel full and satiated. And I stopped thinking about food all of the time. I naturally lost 5 kilos, which has never gone back on again. I no longer binge. I might decide, because I'm eating whole foods, not bars, right? So if I need a morning or afternoon tea, it will be a handful of nuts and a piece of fruit. And I might have an extra handful of nuts or an extra piece of fruit when honestly, if I really looked at, am I hungry? No, not really. I just want it. So I might do that occasionally, but I have not binged for years. And that doesn't mean I can't have a chocolate bar at the weekend or a piece of cake at the weekend or whatever the thing is. I absolutely can. But I can have it, I can enjoy it, I can be so glad that I had it, and then I can walk away. And that, oh my God, that is such a blessing. And that came from starting to eat whole foods, like, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, beans, and I try and eat soy products. So, like edamame beans or tofu or soy milk or tempeh, and that is for those phytoestrogens. Because for women with not a lot of estrogen, it's quite handy, and for women with too much estrogen, it's quite handy too. So that's number one, eat whole foods. Just gradually shift. Look at your day and look at what you can shift. Get rid of the breakfast cereal and eat chia seeds or oats instead with your yogurt and your fruit. Just go through your day and see where, instead of the protein bar, have a handful of nuts and a piece of fruit. It's just looking at those little changes that you can make. You can actually eat more and feel fuller. It's quite amazing. You can eat more and feel fuller for less calories and lose weight. It's quite amazing. Number 2 is move. Now, as I said earlier, how I move my body has changed, but I still do my best to move daily, and so should you. The human body is designed for movement. Some days it's a bike or a swim or a walk. Every day I do some form of mobility training. I can give you the exercises I do actually. I'll make it. I think I've got a PDF. I'll pop it at the bottom. I'll see if I can find it and pop it at the bottom. I do gentle mobility exercises every day. I do static stretching every day. And in an ideal world, I would love to train 5 days a week with weights. But yesterday I was too sore. So I listened to my body and I didn't strength train. The strength training is not how I used to strength train. It's modified for what I can do right now, not what I used to do. I did think I would still be running marathons at 86, but my body has a different point of view. And I used to push myself with heavy weights, and then I'd be so sore. And I thought I had to push through. Now I train with compassion for tomorrow's Ginny. But I always focus on what I can do. And I'm grateful for what I can do. And I start with incidental exercise. So that's my movement during the day. Then I try and do 30 minutes of cardio a day. Then my mobility, my stretching, and my strength. Sounds like a lot, but it's just sprinkled throughout my day, and it really isn't. I never focus on what I can't do anymore or what I've lost the ability to do. I always appreciate, what I can do. And I totally now have so much compassion for those that can do less than me. But I think that there is always a workaround. That is the great thing about exercise. There is always a way. So it might be working with resistance bands instead of weights to keep those neural pathways open. There's so much work that you can do for your balance and your core, just using bands or body weight, perhaps a Swiss ball. There's so much we can do to stay strong. That is enough, right? Just doing a little bit of yoga and a little bit of Pilates probably isn't enough. You need to get strong enough that you can get past that so that you can do some proper resistance training for those benefits long term as we age. But, that's it. I think losing weight and nourishing your body with anti-inflammatory foods is a big part of that too. That's really helpful too. So number 1 is eat whole foods. Number 2 is move your body. Number 3 is believe in yourself and don't believe the voice in your head that says you can't lose weight. I can't stick to anything. Don't believe the voice in your head that tells you you're useless, that it's too late, that I'll always be overweight, that I can't resist food, that it's too hard. Why would you choose to believe those thoughts? Every day we have 67 to 70,000 thoughts. It's a lot of thoughts. So out of all of those thoughts, you don't have to choose to believe the ants, which are the automatic negative thoughts that we all have. There's other thought errors of things like, oh, just one won't hurt. I'll start again on Monday. I can never stop eating such and such a food because I can never stop over drinking or overeating because ... I'm lazy. I'm fat. I'm an emotional eater. I can't help it. It's just how I am. These are all thought errors. This will never work for me. I can't stop eating. Let those thoughts go. A few years ago, you probably think I'm mad, but you aren't those thoughts, right? You can be the observer of those thoughts. And a few years ago, I employed in my head a bouncer. Now, my bouncer is called Sid, and Sid is worth his weight in gold. He is 6'8" and he is built like a brick shithouse. He is Samoan and he is beautiful. And he is the bouncer of my brain. So when he sees those thoughts coming in, he lets me have a quick look at them and then he pushes them away. So I can say to him, nah, I don't want to believe that today. Now, that thought isn't useful to me today. Don't let it in. And so I can just see the thought and say, no, thanks. Hey, Sid, can you deal with that one? And off it goes. So I acknowledge it. I know it's there, but I choose not to believe it. I choose to let it go. That works for me, but I know I'm nuts, but that works for me. But it's finding your version of that. So for 2026, I encourage you to eat whole foods. These are all anti-inflammatory foods. For whatever reason you're sore, whether it's autoimmune disease, whether it's arthritis, all of these things, as well as heart disease, diabetes, cognition, all of these things, high blood pressure, all of these things can be helped by what you choose to put into your body. So make your diet fruit, especially berries, veggies, all the different colors of veggies for all of the different polyphenols and the fiber, nuts, seeds, whole grains, beans, lentils, and those aforementioned soy products for those phytoestrogens. Move, number two, move as is appropriate for you, incorporating incidental exercise, that's just moving around in your day, cardio just to nudge your heart rate up, try and get that heart rate up 2 or 3 times a week, and strength training to your ability, modified to work for you so that it serves you, it doesn't break you, it makes you stronger, not sorer. That's one of my big takeaways from 2025. Believe in your ability to change. Believe you can be the strong, vibrant, vital, badass woman that you want to be in 2026. Because you can. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, message me. All feedback, good and bad, and suggestions, it is all welcome. Next week, we're going to talk about protein for women over 50, how much you need, how to work out whether you're getting it. And we're looking at it in real food, not numbers, not grams, real food. What does it look like? I've got a free sheet to help you kickstart 2026. I'll put the link below. There's also a workshop coming up at the end of January, 27th. And if you want to join me then for help with your goals and strategies for 2026, I'd love to help you. The bonuses on my Lose 10 Kilos in 12-Week Challenge end tomorrow. And those bonuses are a free one-on-one with me to set your goals for the year and a free hard version of the food planner. They are available until midnight tomorrow, which is New Year's Day. After that, I just can't accommodate any more one-on-ones. So after that, the program will still be available. We start on the 2nd of February, but those bonuses will have disappeared. Have a fabulous week. Love you all. Take care. Be a badass woman. May 2026 bring you everything that you want it to bring.